What's up, everybody? This is Scratch, and I got a video for you. We're just going to do kind of a vlog, quick like Q&A thing. Probably take about 10 minutes. I'll try to cut it down. But I just want to talk about some things and different topics that I see and have conversations with people both in private, in the comment sections of my YouTube channel, on Twitter. Maybe we talk about it like while I'm streaming on Beam. We're going to talk about Beam today. And I figured I would just do like just kind of a monologue, I guess, about it. And kind of have this sort of asynchronous conversation where we can actually talk about it here, and I can cover a broad topic at once without going through and answering a bunch of individual comments because I just can't keep up with them anymore. I try to, and I'm going to continue to try to, but I can't. It's hard, but I'm going to try. So anyways, let's talk about Beam. One of the things with Beam is they've changed the partnership application requirements, and that's going to be the topic of this video, as well as a couple of maybe just some tips about how to manage your own channel and how to do things and increase your chances of meeting these new requirements, so that if your goal is to become a Beam partner, then you can do that. Let's just get started. So the minimum requirements to apply for partnership at Beam. Now, what is partnership at Beam? So before I even get started, basically what that means is someone can subscribe to you. So that means they subscribe to your channel, which means they pay money a monthly payment to your channel. Beam takes a little bit of it, you get the rest of it, and you make money while you're streaming. The minimum requirements for that have roughly doubled, not really doubled, but roughly. They used to be like 300 viewers, I believe, and I could be wrong on this, but I think it was like 300 followers and like 30 concurrent viewers at any given moment while you're streaming. So that's a pretty high number, and now it's even bigger. So now it's 750, and it's gone up to 50 concurrent or consistent viewership on your channel. So a lot of people were kind of freaking out about that. They're thinking like, oh, it's so close. I've just been working on this for so long, and then now you guys have pulled the rug out from underneath me. Well, that's not entirely the case. You can read this over on their blog. It's also linked down below. What they've done is extended that to anybody who created an account before, I think it was March 15th. You have all the way until August 15th before the new requirements will kick in for you. So if you can meet the old requirements by August, you should be in good shape. So it's not as bad if you were so close. Keep working. I know they said that in their Twitter account. The common answer was keep going, keep streaming, keep going, keep streaming. But the reality of that is that's the best advice you could possibly be given, is to keep doing it. And I see a lot of people on Beam who don't do it, or who don't keep doing it. I see people jumping into conversations on Twitter, and they think that if they go into like a really big, or conversations on Beam, and they think that if they go into like a really big streamer and they shout out their channel or they say follow me, that instantly, like that day, like 300 people will show up. It doesn't work that way, because that is basically what you would call inorganic growth. And anything you're doing that has inorganic growth is not going to help you, because these people are people. They're not a number. They're not a viewer. The number just represents how many there are, but each one of those numbers represents a person. So just like people who go out and buy bots on Twitter, or bought their channel like on Twitch or something like that, that's inorganic growth. It's not even, actually that's not even growth, really. So you need to carve out an organic way to get viewers to come to your channel. So shouting yourself out or asking for shout outs and all that sort of stuff doesn't do any good. I do see a lot of streamers who will, sometimes maybe even humiliate a little bit the people who come into their channels and ask for shout outs. I personally sometimes just shout them out just because it might show them that it doesn't work. I've never shouted anybody out on my channel, or even on my Twitch, or even on my YouTube, or even on Twitter, where I say their name and a whole bunch of people go follow them. Because you have to have content. You have to have stuff that's worth following in order for that to occur. But that's not really true. Like, I don't shout everybody out, but I shout some people out, just and I explain that, or I'll talk to them. I don't talk to this to everybody, but it's just not it's not going to work for you. So don't do that. That's step one. Step two, and probably the biggest step, is to just actually stream. So just actually stream 3 to 5 times a week, or however often you can, and just be consistent. Consistency is key with anything that you're doing. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do things like write down your ideas. If you write something down, you're 40% more likely to actually go do it. I don't know how true that is, but I've read that somewhere. But I do know that if I write something down and you give yourself a checklist, it's kind of like you're like, oh, you know what, I want to check this list off. Otherwise, you just kind of forget, and then later it's like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that, right? So write stuff down. So actually stream, write stuff down, and then you'll start to get a consistent viewership of a couple of people probably every time that you go live. Now, the other thing that you want to do is maybe look at adding like a bot to your channel to help enhance the experience, get some moderators that you can have that can help you, but don't pick just anybody to be a moderator. Your best friend is not the best moderator. They might be, but they're not always. You want to make sure that you pick people that you can trust, and keep in mind that as these numbers bounce up, remember, again, they are a person, and they're the way that they're treated on your channel by both your moderators and yourself is going to affect on whether or not that number goes back up, which means that whether or not they come back. So consistency between your moderators is another thing that you're going to want to make sure that you have. And so you're going to want to have clear channel rules, or clear clear expectations, I guess, that you expect to happen on your channel that your moderators can enforce, and then also make sure that they're enforcing them, kind of in a consistent manner across each other. Because there's nothing that's worse than coming in and saying a swear word, and one moderator was like, oh, he just said shit, so that's okay, I'm not going to say anything. And then tomorrow you come in and say shit, and then that moderator's like, oh, timed out, banned, gone, and then you're left with this experience of like, oh, well, I said it because I said it yesterday and I thought it was okay, and now it's not okay because somebody's different here. You don't want to keep your audience guessing about which one of the rules are going to be enforced based on who's looking at the chat, because that's just no win for anybody. So consistency is key. Again, consistency is like the word of this whole video. So the other thing that you want to do, like as a streamer and as a moderator, is you don't want to call people out publicly. I see this time and time again. You do not want to do this. Like it's not a good experience. Like if you're going to call somebody out publicly for doing something in your channel, then you might as well just not say anything and just ban them, or just time them out, or just get rid of them right away. Because if you're going to say something to them, I mean, they already said something that you didn't like, or said something bad, or broke a rule without you saying something to them. So what do you think their response is going to be when they're publicly tarred and feathered and humiliated? They're going to fight back, or they're going to be likely to fight back. Never, ever, ever in the history of the internet has anyone ever been told that they're wrong publicly and said, oh, what? Oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. I was wrong. Never. They won't say it. In fact, they'll be wrong again. They're more likely to increase their wrongness, but they're never going to admit to it. So utilize things like private messaging, even with your bots. If you use like ScorpBot, like ScorpBot has settings where you can private message people warnings and things like that. So that when these people get a warning, it's in private, and they can go, okay, yeah, you know what, maybe I did overstep. Because in a one-on-one, they're likely to do that. Not in a public setting. People have too much pride. People have, they're just not going to back down in a public setting, because they're going to need to show that they're whatever they got to prove, I guess. I don't know. But I know from experience, don't publicly moderate. If you see something bad, make it go away. That was told to me by a guy by the name of JD Buck. That's his gamer tag. And I started moderating on the Xbox.com forums in 2008, and I'm still a moderator there. So I have a little bit of experience of community management and community experience. I work closely with all of the community managers that work at Xbox. Not all of them, but a good number of them that have worked there. And through the MVP program, I'm an MVP because of it, an Xbox MVP because of my work on the community side of things within the Xbox platform. So that's where I'm speaking to this from. That's where I get some of this experience from, because I've been doing it I started posting on the forums in 2005. But 2008 was when I actually took on the responsibility of, I'm directly responsible for what someone's experience is when they post on the Xbox.com forums in terms of being moderated and handled. So what you're doing can really affect someone, and you never know what's going on at home. You never know what they're going through, or you never know why they're watching you or whatever. So just be yourself. Take these things into consideration. If you have more questions, there's actually a lot more. I could go on and on and on about this, but I don't want to do that. So we'll cut this one short, and hopefully you guys can meet the new requirements. I look forward to it, to watching your streams, and to see some of you new people become partnered after working so hard. It's a really good feeling to get, to achieve that sort of stuff. So good luck, and hopefully this helps you out. And if you have any questions, or you want to know how to help or work on situations like that you might find yourself in, I can do my best to help. I know a little bit about it. Not a whole lot. Maybe I do. I don't know. People say I do. Thanks for watching.